Today we will be discussing bartering. This is an essential survival skill in an emergency or disaster when traditional currency may lose all value. So the definition of bartering is an exchange of goods or services for an equal or needed exchange of goods and services. Having the barter items shown in this video will help you acquire necessary supplies and services from others. These are the 10 items that we believe are most valuable in an emergency, disaster, or SHTF situation. So the first item we're going to discuss is food and water. Also, manual can openers. Might want to stock up on an extra few of those as well. You want to have non-perishables like canned goods, whether they be home canned or canned goods that you purchase from a store. Clean water, rice, beans, similar items to that are going to last for a while. These will always be in demand in an emergency. Medications and first aid supplies. You will need essential medications, antiseptics, bandages, antibiotics if you can get those, a good first aid kit. These are all going to be extremely valuable in a situation where there's an emergency or an SHTF or a disaster. Personal hygiene items are also going to be a huge barter item in a situation where there's an emergency, there's a disaster, or SHTF. Most of us are used to going to a store that is very close by to purchase anything we need anytime we need it. All of a sudden, that's gone, and that's why these things are going to be so valuable. Things like soap, toothpaste, toilet paper especially, and nobody really thinks about this, but feminine hygiene products. Believe me, if you're in one of those situations, you are going to be the king of the mountain or the queen of the mountain if you have stocked up on extra feminine hygiene products. So now we're going to discuss what if the power goes out. Probably going to go out if it's a bad emergency like we're discussing here, or a disaster or SHTF situation. Batteries, power banks, portable solar panels. These are all highly desirable during emergency situations. A stock of spare flashlights might also help you out because a lot of people aren't going to have enough or any, and they're certainly not going to have batteries for them. So you've bartered with someone for some of the food that you've stocked up. How are they going to cook it? Stock up on fire starters, matches, disposable lighters. These will all be crucial for cooking, for staying warm, keeping yourself safe, especially if you're having to get out of the area that you normally live in, like a home or whatever, and you're out in the wilderness. And also for boiling water. These are huge things to just grab one or two extra lighters every time you're in the grocery store or every time you go to a convenience store. Throw them in a box and keep them. Same thing with matches. These will come in hugely handy, but they also will give you a whole lot of power as a bartering person should any of these situations happen. So PPE is also an important thing to stock up on for bartering. PPE is personal protective equipment. This would include things like face masks, protective eyewear, gloves. Depending on the type of emergency situation you have, you could be faced with a disease or a hazardous condition where these things are going to come in super handy and actually be needed. Definitely something to think about stocking up on. Another one that a lot of people don't think about stocking up on is tools of any kind and all kinds. These can be amazingly valuable, especially if the emergency lasts for some time. Remember that the longer the emergency goes on, the higher the barter value of the items that I am showing you in this video. Fuel of any kind will become scarce extremely quickly in a disaster or emergency situation, especially in an SHTF situation. During Michael, none of our gas stations had gas by about the third or fourth day after the hurricane. For cooking, for heating, for transportation, fuel can be a great barter item. And once again, the longer that situation goes on, God forbid, the more valuable it's going to become. Ammunition. Ammunition, if there is an emergency where there is unrest or people begin to run out of necessities to live, like food, water, those types of things, ammunition is going to be very valuable, both for self-protection as well as for hunting. Skills and services. A lot of people don't think about this, but the ability to offer knowledge, valuable skills, or services will grow in demand the longer the emergency, disaster, SHTF situation continues. From medical knowledge to carpentry, hunting, plant identification, and even herbal knowledge, depending on the needs of the person willing to barter, these can become very, very valuable. Okay, I said 10 items, but this one really has to be in here too. So this is a bonus item. Make sure you have some gold and silver on hand. Gold has been traded as a currency and has held value for over 2,500 years. At least in the beginning, when the SHTF or the disaster or the emergency happens, as paper money drops down in value, the gold will rise up. Silver will rise up because people still have in their minds, oh, I want that. That's gold, that's silver. So have some on hand. You can get it in little chips. You can also, as you see on my screen here on my presentation, you can buy it in those slightly larger chips. Probably wouldn't want to have the gold and silver bars. Those are a little heavy to be carrying around and kind of hard to barter with too. But eventually gold and silver are going to drop down in their value after a certain amount of time of this emergency, disaster, or SHTF if it continues. But then you're going to see it drive back up again. And the reason you're going to see that is because it has a commodity value. It has a value for things like silver is amazing at conducting electricity. So gold is as well, but not as good as silver. Gold is amazing at radiation shielding. How about your tooth fillings? Eventually, dentists are going to need something to put in your mouth to fix those teeth. And so gold and silver are going to start to become much more valuable again. Thank you all so much for watching. My husband made me laugh about 250 times during the recording of this. So I kicked him out of the room. I had to. I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out our other content. Please let us know in the comments if there's anything you would use for bartering that's not on our list. We'd love to hear from you. We do answer you right back. And I hope you have a good afternoon.